Merry Christmas. After Christmas, it is the Christmas featured episode of Super Geek. And what better way to get festive than to discuss Wonder Woman? Since it's a Christmas release, because COVID just got in the way of everything, and all the dates are messed up now. Batman was supposed to be released on October for Long Halloween. I don't think that's happening. But yeah, so on a positive note, Wonder Woman 84.
Jesus
What's
came
up?
to Earth to give us Wonder Woman.
So, what happened? Like, not in the movie, but like, the first one was so great. So, like, what?
It
what
was
happened?
good. I felt, and here's my thing. I always have a defense for DC. Like, I love DC.
I was gonna say, maybe
DC
we should let
apologist.
maybe we should let the apologist go first, and then we can.
Yeah, let the
review.
apologist
Listen.
go first.
So, okay. I feel like the kid that's getting beat up, and y'all are taking my lunch money.
No, of course
No,
not.
I felt like, and this is okay. This is why I'm saying I'm always the one that defends, because this is not going to sound like a defense.
Sure.
It felt like Wonder Woman, the first movie. It felt like a copy of Captain America for a lot of people. I felt like
It didn't feel like it. It was. Continue.
I mean,
Now, see,
you
I
know,
kinda disagree
even
with that.
even we talked about Screen Rant with pitch meetings where he's like, "Did you just say Steve Rogers?" Nope. Okay,
Nope.
well, anyways, you know, and then the whole thing with I just the subtitles of, you know, we're gonna speak an accent here, so we don't have to throw the subtitles up, but later they're just gonna understand what Wonder Woman is saying because Gal can only speak one accent. So
Right.
there were
Which
a
is,
lot
you
of
know, her accent.
there were some discrepancies in that movie that I mean it. I don't know, man.
Hold up. I need. Do you imagine if they never did that to Arnold Schwarzenegger? Do you imagine if Arnold Schwarzenegger was with an island and everybody had to talk like Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah, come on,
That'd be
come
dope.
on. Why don't you come on?
dope.
Oh my gosh,
would
I need
be-
that parody. Can we please do that parody? I'm sorry.
That would
I
be
just I had to.
So, real
brilliant.
quick, on top of that, real quick on top of what you said, do you remember the SNL skit with Jim Carrey? And it's all the different Carries.
Yes.
They should do one,
Yes.
but with Arnold.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They really need that. I
Why
need that in
haven't
my
they?
life.
That'd be it. But anyways,
So, anyways, I mean,
Wow,
trying to get
we
to
digress
okay.
already.
So I feel like Wonder Woman. It was a good. I mean, it was a good start. I mean, we're in the multiverse now, so anything that happens, I just kind of like, you can write it off if you want to write it off. You can, you can say this is it, this is not it, whatever. But I think that it was a good start. It felt like, and this is where I'm going to jump into the beginning of it, because I want to try to like kind of shift through the movie in order. It felt like the jump to Wonder Woman 84 was like a drastic change of like there was like some familiarity of Themyscira, but then it was like boom, it's colorful, it's it's real
vibrant.
superhero-y, it's I'm gonna save the day, here's a little girl, it's gonna wink at me, and I'm it's like, and I like that, like I was telling Lisa earlier, like I feel like we need that from DC. That's what we're missing, is just the superhero comes in, beats the bad guy, saves the day. In this movie, it's like there was no real antagonist. It was kind of like a Thanos situation of feel bad for me because I'm making a hard decision, and I want something good, but it's not your good. It differs from mine, and it's more of like a debate type thing. It's just kind of, and I don't know.
Moral ambiguity, man. They don't know how to write villains anymore. That's why these movies are falling short of what came in the past. I mean, dude, Darth Vader was evil. His motivations were evil, and they, I mean, it was amazing to us that he was redeemed at the end, but that wasn't where it was leading up to. It was just like, this dude just will choke you if you look at him wrong. So, but
Well,
now
that
it's
was-
like,
that's
this
what
person's.
That's
that,
what
Lisa?
makes the story. That's what makes the story so good, is that he was so evil that when he did get
Right.
redeemed at the end, that's what made it amazing. But now it's like, you can't. Evil's not supposed to be evil, because I think we're in this secular humanist age where, as long as it's okay for you, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
There is no bad.
Well,
there is
I mean,
no good.
get too much of these morally conflicted characters. Okay, no, that's not the word I'm looking for. I don't know if I'm bad. I'll do something like heinous, but then it's like, it's just like, make up your mind. When we were talking, a while ago, we were talking about the Star Wars thing with Kylo. Like, when we're introduced to him, he's already like conflicted. Kills his father.
Anakin was just straight up evil, though.
Yeah,
he was just straight up evil.
Dudes out and whatnot.
Well, like, think about, the scene where, like, he chops off Mace Windu's arm, and he's just like, there was no confliction of, like, I don't want this guy to die, but I don't want this guy to die either. And he's just like, well, I'm just cut his arm off, and I'm evil now because. Yeah. But anyways, back to Wonder Woman 84.
It always comes back to Star Wars.
We're gonna be we'll get there. So Wonder Woman 84. Let's do this. Let's go around the table. Let's go to Lisa. Let's go. Okay. I'm pointing like you can look at you can see my screen. Let's go to Lisa, right?
I mean, you're pointing you pointed where her box is.
Okay.
I
cool. So
let's
go to Lisa, and Lisa, give us let's do this. Give us your one-line review of Wonder Woman 84.
I'll go last.
One line.
So I said we're going to go around the table. I don't know if Gabe's next or not, but he's next now. So.
Yeah. Mine's going to be great. You're going to love mine. Okay. It's going to be totally unexpected.
Wonderful.
Okay. This is going to be painful to try to get it into one line without it being a massive run-on sentence.
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, as long as you don't put a period on it, it's one line.
It's one line.
Yeah.
Just
there it is.
Just Jim Carrey it like we were talking big breath.
Comma. Comma. Okay. Okay. Well, this is really hard.
You can do it, Lisa. I believe in you.
I think that they had some good intentions, comma.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there was, I think the message they were trying to get across about truth was a good message, but I think they wrote a really bad story around that message.
Yes, I agree.
Okay,
I would say
and
so.
Good message, story was a mess.
I'm not done, comma.
Yeah.
And I don't think they used the talents to their ability.
Right.
But that's probably because of the story they wrote, because it wasn't a very good story.
Chris Pine's back. Gal
Yeah.
Gadot is growing on me as an actress, and it's just like.
That's the same thing they did to George
Clooney.
Anyways. That's the same thing they did to George Clooney, in Batman and Robin. It's like, here's an Oscar award-winning actor and people like, oh, Clooney was the worst Batman. It's like, he had nothing to work with. He was literally giving a pile of crap. Hey, make Michelangelo's David out of this. It's going to stink.
It was a pile of bat nipples.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's my assessment of it. I think they had some decent intentions. They had a good message with the message of truth. But yeah, I don't know what happened with the writing, because I really liked the first movie. I disagree with the idea that it was Captain America 2.0. But I really liked the first movie, and I thought that they made her such a strong character, and I just felt like it was a lot weaker.
You felt like it diminished a little bit with the writing of this movie.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I would agree. All right, Gabe, you're up. Well, I mean, since you haven't watched, but,
Yeah, so I was so disinterested.
From what you've heard.
Yeah, I was so disinterested, I have yet to see it. So, yet I'm going to be part of the discussion because I saw the first one. I think I've seen the first one 3 or 4 times. And my wife and I, we enjoyed it, but we both were like, that was Captain America. That was Captain America. So, as we were discussing in the chat earlier, to me, the misstep is like when they killed General Pfeiffer, what's his, generic bad guy from X-Men, from Wolverine X-Men Origins. That guy's such a good actor, but man, he's got a stink on him after that movie. It's like he's like a bad omen. It's like, oh no, this guy's really good, but the movie's gonna be iffy. I mean, and obviously that movie wasn't bad, it wasn't iffy, but like when he died, you're like, now what? And then Ares just kind of pops out of nowhere, and
literally.
But yeah, just the trailers. I don't know. It just, I was like, this is not, you're not grabbing me. I'm not seeing anything that got me excited to go and see this. Unlike the Snyder Cut, where it's like, oh yeah, I got to see this. This is, I mean, granted, that's kind of an unfair comparison, but still, there's something in there that I want to see, and there was nothing. I mean, it kind of sounds like Facebook today, dude. It was brutal, brutal. My folks were just like, they're like, I can't remember. There was something else that came out, and they're like, everybody was like, watch Soul. Don't waste your time with Wonder Woman 84. Like that was the consensus across my feed all day, and I'm like, folks were, and these are nerds, man. These are musicians, and they're like. They were just like complete waste of time. Don't even bother with it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch this. Maybe I'll watch it eventually. Maybe I'll get my HBO Max subscription when all the Snyder stuff starts dropping. But at the moment,
for sure.
So I haven't even bothered with it yet. That's how unimpressed I was just by seeing the advertisements.
Jeez. Wow. Okay.
Sorry for all the hate.
I mean, again, it's. I guess I have to go now. Okay, well, let me start. Let me start by talking about the things that I liked about the movie. Which is almost virtually nothing, except
the end.
The end. All right, thanks for joining us on Super Geek Guys. We'll take it now.
These are the things I enjoyed. Okay, now on to the things I didn't like.
Jeez.
So, okay. I'll just go through. I'll go through the list of things that I like. So, like Lisa mentioned earlier about the truth thing. Whoever writes Gao's speeches should be applauded.
Yeah.
Her speech at the end was really good. It felt like I would feel like Wonder Woman would say that. Her outlook on life and everything it makes sense. That person who writes her stuff has a really clear understanding of who Wonder Woman is, not only as a character and as a person, but what her heart is like and where her head is at. So
Jeff Johns, right?
That was something that I really probably. I know he's
sure.
really involved.
He's been producing, so.
So if
must be the same person that writes what Antiope says too, because Antiope.
Right. Yeah. So amazing.
Yeah. Spoilers, by the way.
Sorry.
Well,
Spoiler.
I'll put it in the title. It'll be fine.
The next thing that I liked about the movie.
It'll be fine.
The fight scenes where she's fighting regular bad guys, and I'll get into why I say that specifically, was really good this movie. When she's spinning the whip and blocking the bullets and all that.
That was
the fight
fun.
scenes have gotten better this time around.
Yeah.
It's less CGI, a little bit more of her actually kind of. I'm sure there's a double use, but I'm sure Gal's kind of getting in there. And she served in the Israeli army when she was younger, so I wouldn't be surprised if
they all have to.
She, Oh, well, right, yeah. I'm wouldn't be surprised if she's actually whooping ass, actually,
No,
and then maybe they use a double for a flip or something, but
I've seen her
all those
I've
moves
seen some
and all
video
that.
of her. I've seen some video of her training, and she's
so
pretty good.
That's good on their end. So the stunt coordinators, choreographers, all them, thumbs up. Another thing I liked, I like Pedro Pascal. Seeing him, I'm always a fan of, no matter the role. So a little bit of a bias, but I'm like, all right, he's gonna be kind of like the villain, kind of. But I'll get into the things I didn't like. What else did I like? Chris Pine being back too. That's nice. But of course, that complicates things because, i.e., story wise,
he did.
Which again, I was like,
spoiler.
But then I'm like, now I see. What else? Oh, and her armor. What was her name? Artoria, whatever. The armor looked cool. I mean, generic plated armor.
The gold armor with the wings.
Dope. It sounded really like really weighty. Like, all right. I thought that was gonna be like her upgrade, because with these new superheroes are getting like upgraded versions of their suits and stuff. I'm like, I guess not. Maybe she could have implemented some of it into her costume, but whatever. The things I didn't like. So
everything else.
Nothing happens until the end of the movie, really. As far as like action, I mean, you get a few. Kristen Wiig's Cheetah. God,
a little anticlimactic.
Holy crap, dude! Why would you waste Kristen Wiig on that? Because
I don't know. You disrespected my girl.
Like here's the thing. I love Kristen Wiig. Who doesn't like Kristen Wiig? Cheetah's great in the comics. Cheetah's great in the animated movies. And then you implement her here.
I'm not a huge fan of hers. I'm not a huge fan of Kristen Wiig, but I was really interested to see her play something she doesn't normally play.
Right.
Because to me, the reason I'm not a big fan of her is because she always plays the same character in every freaking thing she's in.
Yeah.
Every single thing, from Saturday Night Live to every movie, she's always the same character. And that's great. I'm really glad you're good at playing that one character. I'm an actor, however, and I would prefer to see people have some range. Right. So I was actually really intrigued that they cast her as supposedly a villain. And she started out kind of playing the same character at the beginning, the really awkward Dr. Barbara Minerva, But when she took that turn, I really, really wish they would have done more with it.
Right.
Because I was like, now's my chance to stop saying, she can only do one thing. She's a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to be like, look at that depth. I mean, she got there with as best she could with the story and the writing, but it could have been so much more. And it could have had... So from an acting perspective, and, also because I've directed a bunch of stuff, too, from a directing perspective, the stakes were not high enough for any of this stuff. Like, none of it. Like the stakes being like, what is it you're going to lose if you don't accomplish what you're trying to accomplish? That's what the stakes are. That's your objective is what you're trying to accomplish. The stakes are what you're going to lose if you don't accomplish your objective. The stakes for neither of our so-called villains were high enough for it to go as far as it went. Like, they just weren't high enough. That's what I mean. The story.
And I was going to add that, and again, I'm still processing, since I just finished this movie, not so long ago. The movie's boring as heck, already. I get, a lot of people are trying to do different things with superhero movies, and instead of doing the whole over-the-top action, they're having, a lot of character development and world building, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the thing. When you don't have neither of those things, Gal is just walking around looking absolutely perfect because, she's one of the most beautiful humans ever existed, so it's just they did a really good job at that, making her look like
so she should have been in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, she should have been an elf or something, because she looked, she literally, even when she was getting beat up and
what's my motivation?
Still
just keep walking,
man.
Right.
But here's the thing, man. Those, I don't disagree about things being a little slow, because man, the one scene where everybody gets their wish and everybody's just wishing out stuff, and they farm animals everywhere, and there's missiles are over here, and I'm just like, dude, this still ain't as bad as 2020 was. That's why we're bored, because this was not as bad as what we went through this year.
And
that's why we were bored. This is supposed to be like a hectic moment. Like everybody in the world is getting their wish right now, and I can see why that maybe that was boring, and I understand Lisa's point too about things being like the stakes being higher, because I'm thinking about like Man of Steel, where it's like literally a save the world type of situation, because that's what he does. That he comes out for the big guys. So but I think Wonder Woman she has enough grit to at least keep up a little bit, and it's such a waste, right? It's such a waste of villain, whatever the word is. I can't even think of the word. I'm so upset about it. To have Kristen Wiig come in, man, it's such a waste of Cheetah, because that's a one-time thing. I mean, unless there's like some kind of like, well, she came back because of a lab experiment or something, but with the whole you kind of wasted that just because for plot's sake, because when he's God, I can't even remember his name. I'm so mad about it. When Pedro Pascal is sitting in the Oval Office,
Max Lord,
and
Max Lord, and he's sitting in the Oval Office, and he's like, yeah, President, just tell me what you wish, and he's like, well, what else to wish except for more? I'm like, yeah, what president doesn't want to wish for a ton of nuclear missiles right next to a country that's gonna nuke us first? And then turns around and there's just plans just sitting casually in the Oval Office. There's just casual plans for a satellite that will shoot out particles and touch everybody if they need to broadcast anything anywhere they want on any device. It's just casually sitting for plot's sake in the Oval Office, and he goes, magic. This is exactly what I need. Ooh. Really?
And also,
that's terrible. That's lazy writing.
I know I prefaced this like I was going to tear into this movie, and I'm getting to that, like the real big stuff.
This is still the appetizer.
I'm because I want to make it, because again, I'm a DC fan. I'm a Wonder Woman fan.
I'm a huge Wonder Woman fan.
Yeah, so like,
as we all are.
I've loved Gal's portrayal of Wonder Woman.
We were so
far.
We were.
However, well, fair enough. However, so the whole shtick of this movie was 1984. But what did it accomplish being in 1984 exactly? It didn't look that much different from present day, besides Chris Pine dressing in ridiculous outfits and a car. Like,
that was a nice car.
But when you want to take something, right? Oh, well, right. But when you want to take something,
they're going somewhere.
Well, here's the thing.
I mean, they got to bring her. It's a Captain Rogers situation,
But that's.
But it's not.
They can't freeze her in ice. They already used that once. So.
It's not a Captain Rogers situation though, because she was alive the whole time. Amazons age differently than humans do.
Right.
So. She was around that whole time. It's not.
What was so significant in 1984? Like.
Just to have that opening scene after Themyscira in an 80s mall.
Like, that's the first one was the World War. Like holy crap. That's different. See that, but then 84.
That's my point with the whole writing thing too. Is that the first story was epic. It was, it was epic in the fact that she landed in this time period where women were still, basically looked at as less, and like they didn't know how to do these things, and she counteracted all the men around her. No Man's Land is like my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Oh yeah, man.
And I love that music. I actually choreographed a whole dance to it, like for my dance company at my studio. And like, this is great music right there. And then, she does all this stuff. And then we're in 1984, and I'm like, well, okay, I mean, that was a cool year. I was 4, I turned 5, like, hey, but I don't think anything major. Again, with the writing, like, they didn't give her this epic situation like they did before. I mean, if anything else, they should have, if they were going to use the 80s, I mean, let's think what's some significant things that happened in the 80s, okay?
Rip off Iron Eagle or Rambo 3. Have her in Afghanistan fighting off the Russians, for God's sake.
Iron Eagle.
Do something cool. There was major stuff happening. The
Yeah,
culmination of the Cold War.
Yeah, they could
I
have
must
done
break
that.
you.
Like,
Have her fight Ivan Drago, for God's sake.
she could have gone to
Yeah, I mean,
she
screw
could have
it.
gone to to watch David Hasselhoff sing at the falling of the Berlin Wall. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, like something they could have. There were, not as major as the world wars or anything like that, but there were things that would
There's some
have
pretty
been.
seismic events going on in the 80s, but yet, like,
You could have even gone. They
that's
could have
another
even
thing.
gone into like the Iran Contra scandal or under,
Exactly.
Yeah.
things like
Exactly.
that that could have been bigger story.
Wow.
That's another thing,
That was the
too,
plot to
like-
Rambo 3 for those that didn't catch the reference. That
And
was
if
the
you
plot
didn't
to
catch the
Rambo 3.
reference, then go watch Rambo 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should watch Rambo 3.
Another thing, too, it's like it took so long for things to get rolling. Like, this is a superhero movie, for Christ's sake. A sequel. And I'm like, how dare you, Warner Brothers, And it's just like, Patty
Shame on
Jenkins,
you.
man. It's like, I was really excited for, this movie. And I know it's COVID and 2020 sucks and da-da-da-da. Whatever. You could still make a good movie during, like, a pandemic and stuff like that. And also,
You had all this time.
yeah,
See,
They,
And
they had
see-
like a year's gap.
And to your point, that's how I knew this thing was not going to be good, because when they said that they weren't going to put it out in the theaters, I'm like, because the same thing happened with Mulan. They're like, oh, no, we'll just put it direct to streaming. I'm like, and I was
well,
like,
it
Mulan
is in
was
theaters,
live,
whatever theaters are open, But
But
it is
they,
in
but they,
theaters.
but they
yeah.
co-streamed it as well, not forcing people to
Yeah.
go to theaters, even though most
Yeah.
theaters are open. I was like, this is not a good sign, because I just went through this with Mulan. We were like, because that was in really close to when everything was still locked down, and that came out, and we have Disney Plus, and we spent the extra $30 to get the thing, and we were like,
Oof. Yeah, what is this?
huh.
I did not spend the extra $30.
And I
Okay,
feel
well
like
that
that's
was that was a thing.
And I feel like that was also another example, another tragedy of crappy writing for a movie
dude.
that has such promise,
Dude, it could. I mean, I watch. I actually watch like the. I think it's called I Am Legend. Jet Li. Like I watch it in the Mandarin, so like reading subtitles, so I can actually see what they actually said. And dude, Asian film has got some. Their stories are so heavy, dude. Like they're epics.
Yeah.
It's like, and that was what people didn't understand about like the last Matrix movie. If you watched anime, you love Matrix Revolutions, because they write real stories. The hero dies. The hero dies. That's really what. Hey, we know how he was a hero, because he died for what he believed in, and he saved some people. And most of the time, you don't save everybody and then just walk away unscathed. That's kind of the westernized Superman. Hey, I'm invulnerable and I'm going to save the day, and nothing can. I'm going to save everybody and nothing can hurt me. Superman got interesting when when Richard Donner decided to, you know what, I'm going to have his dad have a heart attack. He can't save him. Dude, that took the mythos, because like he was drowning in the 70s, man. They were like they couldn't think of enough powers. They're like, well, let's write another book and give him some more power. And then, it was the sales were declining, and then Donner comes out and like, let's kill his dad because he can't save him with a heart attack.
And just like,
Whoa, somebody I can't save,
Yeah.
So, that was a huge misstep with Milan, and it sounds like that's exactly what they did with this. I mean, like, dude, there's so many epic stories, and cartoon episodes and animated movies with Wonder Woman,
And it's supposed to be a sequel. So, like, in my head, what that says to me, it's like, all right, so you're coming back, like, with the big guns. The stakes are higher, right? Well,
They should
apparently
be.
not. And I know I was joking about this in the chat earlier, but she looked terrible as Cheetah when she finally. It's like I said, a cat's reject. Like, not kidding. Like,
When we
God, you
started
look
this.
terrible.
When we started this, I went and just Googled, because I hadn't, they hadn't revealed her yet, and I Googled. I said It was like WW84 Cheetah, and like the second or third thing in the search results is Cheetah CGI horrible, and like the first 5 videos is just people just like, and I saw the picture, I'm like, oh yeah, you're absolutely right, dude. She looks like maybe like an 80s version of the Cats movie that just came out, but bad.
Yeah, because I love the makeup and stuff of the original play.
Do you think that maybe the first movie was just had such a high like climax with like Ares and like really reaching for like Greek stuff, that maybe when the second one came out and it was more like anti-villain, that it was just kind of like it like our expectations were here because it was a sequel, but it didn't match the same story level, or you understand what I'm saying?
Part
like,
of me
I'm
wants
not sure
to
that
say
makes sense.
but like at the same time, we've had all this great DC stuff in between since.
Yeah.
And like we've seen what their plan is as far as like the whole multiverse.
Yeah. Cameo
so,
somebody.
Okay, we got to like areas and stuff, but like get some villains.
So
in there, man. Like Cheetah's fine.
Something I saw online, fan theory that I told Jesse about earlier, was somebody was like, I feel like they're kind of waiting for the Zack Snyder cut to come out. And so instead of making this movie move the storyline forward, it was just kind of a filler, because, with this Snyder cut, they're going to kind of fix the DCEU from the direction it was going.
Well, they shouldn't have said
and
something.
So, I mean, I know, right? That's what this person was saying, was like, they were kind of like, I feel like this was just kind of filler while they're waiting for this to happen so that they can go, okay, here's where we're going now.
And meanwhile
84.
I don't know. That's how I see it. Like, if that's the case, sure, but then again,
say that.
speculation. Like, give me an official statement saying like these films, at least to me, are going to fill the time as we start to build towards the bigger story at hand, which to me, it's fine. I'm fine with that. But this movie, boring as heck. The villain's motives, Cheetah, lame. Max Lord, lame.
Because I've never had anything, and people bullied me, and I want to be pretty, and I want to be popular. Really? That's your whole motive for turning into an apex predator. You want to be pretty and popular.
The political correctness of this film is like, holy crap.
I'm
surprised people aren't ripping into that for that.
Oh, I heard rumblings of that like a week or so ago about all the PC stuff, and I was like, like I said, man, there was nothing exciting about this movie. That like nothing about this said, watch me. Everything about this says, stay away. Don't waste your time. And
I watched
if
it.
You have,
and you're better off just pretending this movie didn't happen, because it's not like it built it towards something really.
It didn't. Yeah.
Like Lisa just said, it's a filler. So like, when I watch anime, I skip filler. It's not part of the official story. It's just for like funsies. Shit's a giggles.
Yeah.
I mean,
skip it.
It's they came very close to Spider-Man 3 and the crap out of it, where they're just cramming in villains left and right and trying to fit all these sub stories for God knows why. Like, if you just
Spider-Man
focus
3 is
on
a better movie than this. That's the crazy part.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because
that's the tagline right there.
I just
Spider-Man
rewatched
3
Spider-Man 3 recently, and that has a more powerful message than this film. That movie is about vengeance.
We are gonna have to talk about that. Like, we are gonna have to talk about that at some point soon, because all the rumors and everything that's happening with with this new Spider-Man
Hopefully
movie.
It's getting insane, dude.
True, man.
We're gonna have to talk about that.
I can't even keep up with
honestly, I'm worried because they're putting so much stuff in this now. I'm like, yo, I don't know if this is gonna be good. I feel like they're kind of starting to compensate. I mean, like, and they're gonna have this actor and this actor and this. I'm like, dude, either this thing is gonna be a 3-part movie, or it's not gonna be good, or it's gonna be, it's either gonna be horrible or better than Infinity War. Scary.
I have spoken.
It's scary. We're gonna talk about that though, but it's because there's plenty to talk about with that. But yeah,
general consensus. My view of this film, it put my mom to sleep. So that's nice.
I have to say,
It put you to sleep. Didn't it?
Oh yeah, the other night. Yeah, when I tried watching it. Yeah, and it knocked me out. And like I said, I was even tired. I was like, all right, I'll check out Wonder Woman. I have time. And then next thing you know, I was like, oh, like I opened my eyes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to say this, and you're probably all gonna hate on me for saying this, but I've tried to I fall asleep every time I try to watch The Watchmen.
Really? Wow.
I can't do it.
I could see that.
Wait, the show or the movie?
The movie.
Oh,
that's,
man,
that's okay. That's fine.
I could see that.
I mean, we forgive
after
you.
the
but
first 25 minutes, it's really it's.
Yeah. It's the
You have to
show.
wait for that.
You can't fall into the show. The show's awesome.
Yeah, the show is.
I'm a couple
epic.
episodes into the show, and it's okay. It's okay. I like Jean Smart. She's funny.
Okay.
It's okay.
You're almost put in the doghouse, but then you.
Yeah,
then you
I'm only a couple episodes into it. I think I've seen 3 episodes of the show. So yeah, I just started watching it.
Stick with it. It's good.
But yeah.
But
I was gonna say, so my daughter loves the first Wonder Woman movie, and she's 6, and she'll sit there and watch the whole movie. She'll maybe run around a little bit, but like the fight scenes, I mean, she gets up and she like fights like her, and she's like jumping off the couch and trying all these cool moves to be her. This movie, she hardly watched any of it.
And
I mean, we were like made a big deal of it. We like turned all the lights off, turned the surround sound on with my dad. My dad's like, let's get the theater mode on, and she was like, eh.
No, and I'll say,
dang, if you can't even keep the attention of a 6-year-old, that's horrible.
See, there you go. And I'll say, to wrap up my point, piggybacking on what you're saying too, is like I'm no film writer or anything like that, but how I envision when making a sequel is not pulling your punches. Like I mentioned earlier, the fight scenes were a little better, but like it's a sequel, Wonder Woman 2. Why couldn't you have filmed it differently? Have like a tracking like thing of like her kicking ass, but then like the camera follows her. Like, how awesome would that have been? If her just like whipping dudes and punching them out, but then the camera's like following her, like a Roger Deakins 1917 style of like a fight scene. Like, holy, like that would be dope. But no,
just anything to keep you awake.
Exactly.
Give me something.
Yeah. So
yeah,
the plot wasn't there really. The action when it's bare minimum, and it's just like, look, I get it.
Well,
with DC, they learned before like they didn't have enough fight scenes, and then they did the Man of Steel where they just every 2 seconds was fight scene. But then now they're like, let's go back to doing the substance. I love Man of Steel. But it's like there was no substance in there either. So you would have benefited having just hella fight scenes in this movie, I feel like.
So you're saying this movie was basically Goku and Piccolo go learn how to get a driver's license.
But that was enjoyable though.
That was actually funny. I was going to say that actually they cracked some like Piccolo ragged on Goku in that, and like it was actually moments of entertainment in there. So it's not even that. It's not even a fair comparison.
If you're going to do filler, it's got to be enjoyable because it's already not official to the story. So that was enjoyable.
Yeah.
This was not.
So the end of it felt like it was like a dying out of this part of the multiverse is what it felt like. Yeah, it's just kind of like even the end credit scene. Yeah. Even the end credit scene, I was just kind of like,
okay,
this doesn't have any indication.
Yeah.
I don't care if it doesn't indicate anything. As a child who grew up watching Linda Carter, that was my favorite part of the movie.
For sure.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
I had Wonder Woman
they gave her a cameo in the end.
Yeah.
The after credit
scene. And it turns out that
she's like walking, and then you think but then she turns around. It's like, oh, Linda Carter.
They credit her with being the strongest female warrior that sacrificed herself so that the other Amazons,
the armor that I was talking about, it was her.
Yeah, that she was the one that had the armor. They give her that credit. It starts with an A. I can't remember.
Hysteria,
Hysteria,
anyways.
yeah, something like that.
I think it's Hysteria, yeah.
So they don't have. So they don't even put her in the actual movie. They put her as an afterthought.
Chris Pine is like, whose armor is this? And then she does show her eyes on him,
and then if you watched the Linda Carter TV show, when they showed her eyes, I was like, I feel like that's an indicator. Like it didn't register immediately, like it was her, but they showed her eyes, and I was like, I know those eyes. Who is that? You know, like why are they only showing her eyes? And then they showed Linda Carter at the end, and I was like, it was her eyes. That's what it was. Yeah.
You know,
she
it's
has those
funny.
Really clear.
It is funny because when you look at Alex Ross's drawings of Wonder Woman, she has Linda Carter's eyes, hands down. And it's even though his Superman is not Reeves, you still see Reeves when you look at Alex Ross's Superman because those are just the embodied. They perfectly embodied the character and were that character to the first generation of fans.
Kingdom Come, man.
Kingdom Come, son.
So good.
We could do a whole episode on that. I've read that book.
I'm rereading it
like 20 times, man. I've read that book 20 times. And if they ever do a live action film of that and bomb it and mess it up, I'm personally like, bro, no, I'm personally just like, I'm getting an army together and I'm going to burn down Warner Brothers.
If you want to take a flight to Burbank, I can give you the address real quick.
Come on,
I've been there
son.
numerous times.
You know, I'll just wrap myself up in some paraphernalia for groups that can burn stuff down and not get stopped, and they'll be like, well, we think he's mixed. He's mixed, right? He's not white, so he's allowed. He's allowed to do it.
It's like
Kingdom Come.
Yeah. So overall, if you're a DC fan, I guess it's worth checking out, but just know that the first one's better. And I hate to say that because, you know, I always want it to be, you know, get better and
up
better.
A notch.
But it's the classic thing of like the original movie's superior in a sense, you know. Unfortunately. Maybe the next time around we get a Wonder Woman 3. God, do better. You know? I don't want all these DC movies like in between. Well, I mean, there's not going to be, but like if we were getting more DC movies before Snyder Cut, I don't want it to just be filler or just the past of time. Like they got to be these strong DC stories just to get us ready for Snyder Cut.
Hopefully it'll be like hopefully this is shaping up to be like Thor, where the first Thor was like it was good, it wasn't great, but it was good.
Yeah,
the second one was and then Ragnarok was fantastic. It's not like the best film ever, but it was very entertaining, had great action, had great comedy, had a cohesive, coherent story. So maybe Wonder Woman 3 will be that. Hopefully
maybe third time's
hopefully so.
It also had Taika Waititi, so, you know.
Who did a heck of a job directing Mandalorian episodes.
Which will be our next
segue?
Episode.
Nice segue.
Season 2 finale. Get ready for that, people, because us Star Wars fans are eating these days. You know, we're not starving anymore.
Eating good, son.
We gluttonous. You know what I mean?
Man. It's a buffet.
Occasionally still drinking the Haterade, but at least we got some food.
We got it. Always goes back to those TLJ. The abbreviation that haunts my dreams forever.
You just made me twitch. Did you see that?
ROS.
Stop it.
The cursed abbreviation. Did you ever see TLJ? And it's just like, sit down. Let me tell you.
That was the dark times.
It was a dark and stormy. And then as I'm talking, you just see the skies darken. You know,
yes,
2017.
I feel like as you're talking about, like, your background should change to like the interior of the Death Star when Vader like lands in Return of the Jedi, and it's just boom, boom,